Matt has taught me this really cool lesson about trying not, and he's talked about this on Mornings with Matt several times. I don't know if with any of you, because you all have been on the show, but he's talked about this idea that you can't think of days like regular days. You know, a Monday isn't a Monday and a Friday isn't a Friday. And like, especially with somebody like Carol's schedule, you know, your schedule's all over the place. So you may not have a weekend, and your Monday may be the start of your weekend or whatever it is. But we are so ingrained of thinking like, okay, we have to grind super hard, right? Monday through Friday, and then we can relax Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday it's just back to the grind. And I think that can get really overwhelming for people. And it's really overwhelming for me. So I'm working on trying to grind every single day, you know, and not be scared of Mondays, because they do scare me and I worry, and I struggle really bad with a couple of things. So I was thinking about it today, and I was like, you know, I'd really like to do just like a mental health check and just see where everybody's brains are at, see how you guys are doing, and just ask you what's going on in your life. And you know, this is a safe space. Obviously you can share as much or as little as you want, but I just wanted to check in and see how everybody's doing. So Amanda Priska, if you wouldn't mind starting us off, what's going on with you today? Where's your head at?
Actually today has been pretty productive. I finally went to chiropractor for the first time.
Oh, how was that?
It was like good and bad. Like, I don't know, it was scary.
Yeah.
Just because I have to interact with people, but then like my back got cracked, so it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I got my cabinets installed for my kitchen. And then I cooked 2 dishes maybe. And
Woo!
then yeah, and then it's pretty productive. I finished like working out like at 8:30 in the morning, which is rare.
Nice.
But yeah.
Okay, so it was a good day. Now I want to just pick apart your answer a little bit and see if there's something I can help with, because I noticed what you said was it's a little bit scary because I have to interact with people.
Oh, meaning like,
what do you mean by that?
Not social distancing.
Oh, I
yeah.
see what you mean. Okay, I was like, I can help with social anxiety. I understand it. Oh yeah, for sure. But even in that sense, going out can be scary and having to deal with all that. But I'm glad that you had a productive day and that you're feeling really good. That makes me happy. Makes me feel like we're gonna have an awesome class. So yay, thank you for sharing. Joanne, tell me what's going on in your life.
Wait, am I unmuted? I can't even tell.
You're good. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So today, if you hear banging, it's because I'm getting floors done.
Fun.
And that's why I'm using the black shop now, because the gray one's really, really big and it doesn't fit in the office. So
I love it.
Yes, and I had the kids had friends over today. And right now, I think most of my friends and I are focused on what's going to happen with school. Oh my God.
Yes, I have heard that parents of
and it's a very polarizing topic of conversation, because everybody's got different, situations and what they want to do. So, but I just say it's going to be what it's going to be. We don't really have a lot of control over that. So.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's really tough right now having conversations with people, because this episode that we're going through has quickly turned from neighbors helping neighbors into what political affiliation you are and what you believe in. And that's really tough, because you may tend to start to like weirdly judge people, and it's not like you're trying to, but when somebody disagrees with how you parent or what you're trying to do, it's suddenly become a bigger issue. Yeah. So that's tough, and I'm praying for you, because I don't have kids, and I don't envy your position. But
I'm in a place where I feel like it's going to be fine. But we've done both, and so whatever, all 4 of us have had it. So I know we don't know if we can get it again, but I don't feel quite as threatened as I think some people are. So I just try to stay in my little bubble.
Yeah, in your bubble, exactly.
Here.
In your bubble and put others in bubbles. That's the best way to protect yourself from feeling all of that negativity that's coming in on you. That's good. I'm glad you know about the bubbles.
I gonna leave this up here for my mom.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Great. Thank you. Carol, tell me what's going on with you. Oh, you're muted, Carol. You are still muted. Let me ask to unmute you.
Unmute.
There we go. Okay, go for it.
So I had a good day. I just came off of a 4-day trip, so that's a long time to be away. So like my anxiety is like I want to do everything I can on my days off. So I like God, but today I jumped out of bed and I took a 8-mile bike ride. Fell off once. It's a little blood, but it's okay. I love biking. There's all these desert trails where I live, so I just ride with a smile on my face. And I got to be honest, I do 2 things on my bike ride. One is listen to Mornings with Matt, or constantly play my dialogues. So I use it for double dip. I get exercise and then I always get a great start to my.
Yeah, that's great. I'm so happy to hear that. So you had a great day. So you're really productive. So when you're not traveling, you spend your days trying to get all the stuff in that you can't do while you're traveling.
Right. So exercise is always important, and there's always the stuff you have to do, your house cleaning, your laundry, your shopping, all that. And like you, before I go to work, I get that bit of anxiety. Like, how can I leave for 3 or 4 days, and will everything, be okay the same when I get back? So, and also being terrified of getting sick. So, and not so much for me, the guilt I would feel if I brought it to the studio, or brought it to my house, or brought it to somebody else and thought, I'm the contact tracer when they go back and see where they got horrible. So I am a freak about trying to wear my mask and keep clean and wash and protect and all that.
It's an added stressor that I don't think anybody ever saw coming, that we ever knew we were going to have to deal with maybe in our lifetime. And it doesn't really seem like right now it's going away. So we're all doing our best to help others, which I think is really cool. But I think that's an interesting point, because you have the laundry and the kids and the husband and the meal cooking and work and this. And then also you have to worry about not getting sick and worrying about giving it to somebody else. So
yeah. So
it sounds like you're dealing with it like a queen, though.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
I said it sounds like you're dealing with it like a queen, though.
Oh, yes. I think I'm doing well.
Per usual.
Thank you.
Jack, don't you roll your eyes down there. I'm just kidding. He didn't roll his eyes.
I'll get the real story.
Not one mention of missing her son.
Hey, she can only miss you like.
And I'm heartbroken.
Oh no, Jack, I am sorry because I miss you so. No. In fact, Dad and I talk about.
Oh my gosh! You know what? The thing is I think the last day of my life would be if I ever saw Carol Bennett cry. Like, I don't ever want to see that. That would be like watching Titanic over and over again in my world. Like, absolutely not. I never want it to happen. I hope I'm never there. I'm sure you've made her cry, Jack.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, worst days of my life. There's like 2.
Yeah.
Traumatized. I'll never get over it. So
Well,
it's her fault.
It always is. I know. All right. Yeah. Well, Jack, tell me what's going on with you. Are you in LA?
I am. Tomorrow will be 1 week that I've been back.
Oh, so you're like back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. Although, not exactly. I have my lease ends on the 30th of September, and I am intending on staying, but my uncertainties right now are just around figuring out how I'm going to make money in the next few years. Kind of accepting, not knowing for sure, but sort of accepting that there's not going to be productions going on here in LA, so I probably won't be working on set for about 6 months at least, I would guess.
Sure.
And so I definitely empathize with you. I had the Mondays big time today because I took Sunday off yesterday to just kind of relax and take care of some chores, and then coming back today and coming back to all these lists and just going like, I have enough work to do until I die, it seems like. And it can be overwhelming, but just trying to stay centered and focusing on the task in front of me and keep moving.
I love that. One step in front of the other. I know that when you spoke to Matt on your Mornings with Matt show, and there, again, you guys know there's been 100 now, over 100, but wow. I believe that you were talking about that you like to create your own content and do a bunch of that kind of stuff as much as you can, right? And kind of dip your foot into every skill that you can. And that's the first thing that comes to my mind when thinking about, especially an actor in LA like you, and knowing that you're probably not going to be on set because that's something that's out of your control. So what things can you create on your downtime that maybe not make you money, but make you fulfilled? Like being on set would be, you know, and start to think about making a list of those types of things. Which I think would be helpful for you.
Well, yeah, it'll keep me sane, A, and B, you know what, actually, it's been pretty positive to read that a lot of agents, it can actually work really positively towards making myself a good candidate for agencies as well, too, if the work is quality. So that's inspiring. Like, it keeps me hopeful, and it keeps the work feeling purposeful.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, yeah, it's all good, though.
There's stress. I know there's stress going on in the world. And then you think about, I'm also a very big proponent of, which I used to not be, and I have this problem with Brian, because whenever I was having an issue, you know, I'm around the boys all day long for 10, 12, 14 hours a day. And I would always compare what I was feeling to Brian's situation, because in my head, you know, Brian, thank you so much. You look beautiful, Vic.
Oh, thanks. I had to wear my outfit.
Oh my God.
It was an accident thing. So.
Get out of here. You look awesome.
Oh, thanks. It was like an accident.
Oh.
I was diverting the traffic.
Oh, good. I'll see you right out there in 2 seconds. What I was saying was that I always had a hard time because I would always compare my problems to Brian's, because I would always be like, dude, this dude has been through hell and back and barely lived through it. And I'm crying because I can't afford, I don't know, you know, I'm having trouble paying my water bill or whatever it may be, like, and I would always try to justify it with what he was going through or other people in my life. And you can't do that. You can't, because your issues and your problems are your own and they're valid, and you can't compare to what other people are going through. But at the same time, I try my very hardest to say, okay, I have a roof over my head. I'm not starving. I'm not sick. My family is healthy. Everybody's okay. And I'm hopefully, if God lets me, I'm going to live another day tomorrow. You know, and at the end of the day,
perspective, yeah,
it does when you start to think about all that stress. So that's just what I wanted to start with you guys today. Just wanted to check in, see how you guys were doing. You know, I did this with my teens, and obviously you guys know teenagers are all over the place right now with their mental health, and they don't know what the heck is going on in the world. And then they do, and then they're stressing. And then on top of that, they're all going through puberty, and they have hormones. And they were all feeling pretty down today. So I took it as responsibility on myself to kind of up the energy. So that's what we're going to do tonight. It seems like you guys are in a great space. I'd love to chat with you real quick. Carol, do you have any clue where Matt may be?
Yeah, he might not be in tonight. I hadn't heard from him all week. Okay. And the last text message I got from him was, I hope to be home on the 20th. But
oh, cool. Okay.
Obviously, his trip is extended and he's not going to be here, I guess.
No big deal. Me and you will work together then. You'll get a private. So
that'll be great. Sure.
Okay, cool. So here's what we're going to do. I would like to talk to you guys and just ask you about what you, how you grew in your scenes this week. And here's the deal. I said this to my teens, and I was like, tell me how you grew in your scenes this week. I just want to know what progress you made. And all of them are like, Miss Shay, I forgot to rehearse with my scene partner or whatever. And I don't want you to be mad. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would never in a million years be mad. So I just want to tell you guys, like, whatever you got done with this week, cool. And we're going to take it from here and make it better. So sorry, Amanda, you're on my top left. So you're the guinea pig. All right. Tell me how you grew in your scene this week.
Yes. So we kind of changed a little bit of our script. I mean, it's still kind of the same. Just like shorten it, like you said.
Yeah. Let's make sure.
We figured out about our background a little bit.
Cool.
And then memorizing.
Sweet. So
yeah.
Jack.
Yeah, same. I think I feel like the words are a little more honest. I cut all of the long lines in the second half of the script. I cut it down like you said, to just the most emotional thought, but then also through improvising and like us rehearsing it, we just rehearse a little bit every day.
Cool.
So by touching it through days, I think it's just sinking into the subconscious, and then some lines just come out differently in a way that you go, oh, it just feels right. Like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So that would be it. I guess just getting more into the skin of the character in the scene. And then also I feel that the one concrete step I made in my performance was I heightened the emotion at the end. I feel like I'm accessing a little more anger, but that's what I'm kind of working on.
Great. Awesome. I love to hear that. Joanne, talk to me.
So we were able to get together a couple times via phone and FaceTime to practice, and we really kind of dug into the characters and like why they were saying what they were saying as they were saying it. I've had a lot of fun working with her so far.
Awesome.
So it was a fun process.
Yay, that makes me so happy. Vicky, how did you grow this week?
I think it was the same. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think it was the same as like Joanne and I met several times, and we really hashed out, you know, the depth of our characters, each one, and why we were saying what we were saying and what we thought, you know, and how that character would feel. And then we changed a lot of the different wording, you know,
Yes.
because of that. It ended up changing some of the things. And so I think we have a really knockout scene right now, personally.
Yay.
We're pretty excited about it. If it
Oh,
goes well,
good.
we did practice today, but.
Well, geez, just leave, Vic. Get out of here, Vicky. You
No.
didn't rehearse today. What the heck? That's awesome, you guys. I'm happy to hear it. So, Carol, did you get a chance to rehearse with Matt this week?
No, the first week we did not rehearse.
Okay,
but
cool.
Because you blew my mind last week suggesting some things about state that I hadn't considered. So,
Yeah.
that was really, really fun to think about.
Good.
I have gone through so many emotions,
You can just call me Vicky.
different, like
if you want.
how she might react.
Yeah,
But
Vicky.
it's been really exciting.
Yay. That makes me so happy. And I know I kind of threw a bunch of stuff at you last week, so I'm happy that you are able to take those things and kind of just
And
decide
some
if there's another way.
my first reaction to her. So that was really interesting because I thought it was kind of full circle, although you were more exaggerated in what you had said. So it's
That's me. I'm always a drama queen, Carol.
I didn't mean drama.
No, I'm just kidding. That's awesome. And I want to touch on something that Jack said that's really interesting when he said, and I know Matt and Carol, you guys have always been really good at rehearsing, and same with Joanne and Vicky. I'm glad to see that that's going well. And Jack said, you know, we try to rehearse a little bit every day, and that to me is the best way to rehearse, is because instead of putting in 3-4 hours at a time and just kind of going through it and not really having a direction for where you're going, the more that you can spend ample amounts of time, you know, even 20, 30 minutes, 10 minutes even every day, where you're sitting there going, okay, I thought about it this way. And there's something to the effect of like rehearsing and then going to bed and waking up with a new fresh mind and looking at it in a different way, which I think is really successful when people rehearse. And I was the opposite. So when I would rehearse, I'd be like, okay, let's spend 6 hours today. And then I'd go home and be like, okay, so I don't know what I could grab from that, where I would have rather spent 20 minutes, 30 minutes every day and decided what changed overnight, or just what your mind does. Your mind is going to change. So if you guys can take that action and just spend 20 minutes a day doing that. And I'm so impressed with you guys. We have such a excellent group of students who really kick ass and put the time in. So tonight's going to be a fun class, but tonight is going to be me nitpicking as much as I possibly can, because you guys are going to perform these next week. So Jack and Amanda, we're definitely going to go over your lines. Same thing with Vicky and Joanne. I just want to hear it, and then we'll kind of dig into the dirty, have you guys perform it so you feel good about next week. And then next week, we're just going to jump in. With the webinar, I'm not 100% sure yet if we'll be able to put you guys in, have you guys go for rehearsal and then perform, or if we're just going to start right away and have you guys perform. So however we decide to do the webinar, we'll let you guys know. We'll send you the links to all of that, and everything will be good to go. super quick before we get started, did any of you have trouble with the link that I sent you today? Other than, I don't know why, Jack Bennett, you never get my emails. That makes me so sad.
Oh yeah, it's
I'm so
silence
sorry.
is deafening.
Yeah, it made me so sad. He texted me today. He's like, I haven't gotten any of your emails. And I'm like, Jack Bennett.
I was in a black hoodie when I sent that.
Well, I felt it. I felt the black hoodie.
Yeah.
But did anybody have trouble getting into the Zoom link today? Or was it okay? Okay, cool. Just making sure. All right, so let me make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, let me start with I'm gonna start with Carol.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and have everybody go ahead and stop your videos here.
Okay.
All right. So I want to ask you a couple questions first before we get started. So let me talk to you about Stephanie's point of view. What do you think Stephanie's point of view is in the scene? Oh, did I lose you? I wonder if it's me.
Like, I don't really understand. Do you mean like, she, can you hear me?
I can hear you barely, but your video shut off. So will you stop your video and mute yourself?
Okay.
And I'm going to do the same.
Okay.
Okay, now go ahead and, okay, good. I think we're good. I think we just got stuck in transmission somewhere. So what is Stephanie's point of view in the scene itself? What is her, what's her platform? What ideas are she standing on?
Oh, okay. So I really kind of come to the conclusion that she is, she's feeling jealous and threatened by the daughter. So those are two emotions she's dealing with. She's feeling ignored by Herb. He's been dating Herb for 2 years. And I almost feel like tonight she's, come on, Herb, let's move in together. Almost as if she's ready to push him a little bit and say, it's okay if you say no. I could do other things. I feel like she's sort of getting to the end of her rope with her relationship with him, and she's not afraid to push him, knowing it might go badly for her.
Gotcha. Okay. And when I know I don't know if we talked about this last time, so forgive me if I'm repeating a question that I should know the answer to, but how long have you guys been together?
2 years.
2 years. Okay, cool. And I'm going to ask you the same question, but what have you noticed in the change of Herb from the start of your 2 years, if you can imagine, to now? What do you think the change in him is?
Okay. I bet you Herb's gone through a lot. First, I think she was attracted to her because he's witty and funny and he's got great banter and they have a great time together, like with conversation. And also I think maybe Herb was more optimistic when they first started dating. It's been a while since he's written a successful play. And just how you are when you start dating, everything's more exciting, you behave better. So Herb is just he's not such a great catch anymore. He's very selfish and it's all about him. And then his daughter comes in, which just magnifies the fact that he's not paying that much attention to Stephanie anyway. And now he's showering all this attention on his daughter. And worry and thought. So I think it makes Stephanie more insignificant than before she was with.
That's really interesting because I think in the beginning, I thought it was kind of odd. I mean, it is odd that Stephanie has such an odd reaction to him being excited and loving to his daughter, and I was like, okay, let's dig into that. But I think you just hit it on the head. He's been distant. He's getting comfortable with your relationship. He's good where you're at. He may not really be thinking about the future as a woman would. That's just what we do in certain cases. And I think you just hit it when you said, he's showering all this attention on, even though she's not a new woman, she kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not the idea of like he's leaving you for the newer model, but it's all of a sudden 2 years ago, you see what I mean? Like, I know my words aren't very clear on that, but I think you understand what I'm saying.
As he's capable of showing those feelings that maybe he was withholding from Steffi, that she just accepted as part of Herb. But no, he does worry, and he does care about this girl, and like, hey, you know, you don't worry about where I am 12:30 at night.
Sure, absolutely. Like, where's my phone call? And now, what do you think of Steffi's character arc? How does she change from the beginning of the scene to the end of the scene?
Let me think. At the end of this scene, well, she's leaving, and she's sad because she's leaving. You know, why am I going home alone at 12:30 at night? So she's gathering her things and leaving. She was getting pretty irritated with him, then she pulled back. So she was kind of like accepting of Herb again. You know, okay, Herb, that's just the way he is. So she goes through quite a lot throughout the scene. But at the end, she's feeling dejected, lonely, sad, going home. She'd offered, you know, Herb, move in with me, Herb, let's do more, let's make a commitment, and he's doing everything but answering the question.
Is this I'm not sure if we talked about this last week, is this the end all be all fight for them?
No, in fact, they stay together, of course, throughout the
Okay, right. So do you think it affects her? It's interesting because I think of Steffi as this woman who is very strong, and she knows a lot more than she leads on to, but she also wants to make Herb happy, but she wants, at the end of the day, she doesn't want to be lonely, and she wants to be loved.
Right. And she says, she brings up, I'm going to be 40, so that's playing on her too. You know, that she feels like that's old.
She feels like that's old, right. And so let me ask you, her relationship with her kid's father, what happened with that?
Oh, I had to make all that up. So what I made up was, they never addressed it in the play, was that they moved from Ohio to LA together, and they were going to both be actors. They were newlyweds, but she ended up not making it, but she's happy being a makeup artist. She's fine. And he got a little successful, and then of course he had an affair with somebody. So that's where she's getting her low self-esteem with Herb. Like, you know, you don't deserve that affected her. So that's what I feel like. Divorce, he cheated on her, crushed their dreams.
Great. Okay. I think you're exactly where you need to be with that. Okay. Last question. How does a character change point of view, character arc? Okay. How did you and Herb meet?
At a party. I don't know. I never gave that thought. I don't know, but I think Hollywood party.
Okay, at some Hollywood party. And if you were going to say the first thing that Herb noticed about you, now this is tough because Herb's not here,
right?
But what would you say made Herb attracted to you?
Oh, that I'm pretty. I'm attractive. I'm attractive.
Okay. And what attracted you to him?
Oh, I think that Herb would have walked up to her with some funny little line complimenting her that she would have eaten up, and just like, this guy's so funny. He's so cute, you know.
And the rest is history. And as far as you know, he never had any kids until she shows up, right?
Steffi did know he had kids, but it was just a fact. But you know, she knew he left them in New York and never looked back.
Got it. Okay. So there would be no reason for them to show up, and then she shows up. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Cool. Okay. I want you to start thinking of that stuff. I'm going to go through and I'm going to ask the other characters the same questions. And then what I'm going to try to do, is there a way, Carol, because I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms. Is there a way that you can send me a picture of the first 2 pages of the script?
Yes.
Could you do that and just send it to my phone? Just either send it to my cell or send it to the email. And then when I get you on, then at least I just want to be able to have the words in front of me.
That's no.
Cool. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Great job. I'm going to bring in Jack and Amanda, please. All right.
Hello.
I'm going to. Oh, perfect. Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys some similar questions that I want to know about
Yeah.
the characters. So tell me, Amanda, what is your point of view? What is her? And remind me of her name.
Jackie.
Jackie. Yes, short for Jacqueline. So tell me about Jackie's point of view in the scene.
Basically she is kind of, I feel like she's kind of done with him. Like she doesn't really want to have that fight anymore for the relationship.
Okay.
And just kind of like wanted to avoid him in a way, but then she doesn't want to deal with the breakup, and also she's using him to have that emotional support because I'm not very close with my family, and like all of my friends, they're like we just have fun, like drugs and alcohol and stuff.
You're
Yeah.
just doing your thing.
Yeah.
Would you say that Jackie is a person that often pushes her problems aside,
I would think so, yeah.
kind of in all areas of life?
Yeah, like, yeah, whatever. I'm just like, she's like a procrastinator, kind of.
What do you think about Jackie's past relationships?
I kind of thought this might be like my first relationship, just because we met like we met when we were pretty young.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe like at least the first serious relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like serious enough to where this would be the first person that you were ever intimate with, maybe? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, sweet. What is her character arc? So how does she change from the beginning of the scene to the end of the scene?
She's kind of like, she's using an excuse, and then obviously Charlie is asking Jackie about like why. So I'm kind of like, I don't have any other options but to like answer the truth, and I get kind of pissed off at the end.
So you go from kind of
like defensive.
Yeah, so it's not like you're melancholy, but I think you're kind of there's a word I'm thinking of, nonchalant at the beginning, and then he pushes you and pushes you and pushes you because of his point of view of where he's at, and we'll have Jack talk about that in a second. So you go from nonchalant to annoyed to kind of angry, and then at the end it's like you're over it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I think, and I'll see Jack's opinion on this too. It makes me feel like Jack wants you to be somebody you're not.
Yes.
But Charlie also wants to make you better.
Yes.
So I don't think there's anybody that's better in this situation, but I think that you guys in a relationship wise both want to be on top, and you're not working together, and you've stopped acting like a team. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's going to be your word against his, and there's no common ground there.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So Jack, tell me about your point of view as Charlie.
Charlie is, he's very much like still fighting for the relationship. So though he's obviously not acting in all the healthiest ways and being the best version of himself, he's still fundamentally wanting it. So as Amanda said, her character might be just kind of mentally over it. Charlie's point of view is that he's still fighting for her, but in that unhealthy way that he is, where he thinks that through changing her. So he's still, I guess, that's kind of his point of view. And then I guess on a deeper level, maybe he's fighting for dominance still, though, in the relationship by trying to critique her
Yeah.
in a way that's over the line, really. Critique her in the areas where he either has to just accept her or not.
Right. And he's not happy with that.
Yeah, he's judgmental of things. I mean, he thinks he's well-intentioned because
Of course.
he's frankly pretty much got good points.
Yeah, he's not evil.
Yeah.
And he's not dumb, but I think what's sad is that it's falling on deaf ears.
Yeah.
And it's going in one ear and out the other. And there's this magnificent point in the scene where you've realized she's not hearing you. She's not hearing you mentally and emotionally. And then that's where that beautiful moment that I was talking about when couples stop fighting, because they are not on top and they don't want to fight anymore. So do you think, for you personally, as Charlie, what have your past relationships been like, or is this your first real relationship as well?
No, I think he's had some. They're just, but I think they've been relatively healthy. And I think he's had control in his past relationships, not abusive control, but just healthy amount of feeling of control.
Yeah.
And in this one, he can't control this girl, and he's really in love with her, but he's wanting to control her. So it goes back to that thing, like, we did keep it that they met in a class because they do have similar dreams, and that's what brings them together. So it's like that frustrating thing of like, Charlie almost kind of is going through what maybe somebody trying to save a sibling from addiction is going through, or something like that. A similar emotional experience. I'm not saying it's as noble, but it is. It's similar. It's like he's grieved. He's in denial about her unwillingness to change and overstepping his bounds as a partner and trying to be a rescuer. So, and I think he ends the scene not realizing that he's over her, but he does end up, you'll see, we change the dialogue, but he kind of, in so many words, calls her stupid. And I think that's a big step for him to kind of be like, starting to be more honest with himself, that he really, like, accepting his anger and maybe accepting that he doesn't think as highly of her as he tells her he does.
Interesting.
Sort of deal.
And that's tough to hear. That's really tough to hear. So in terms of action, we always talk about the strongest action coming from love. So even in a scene like this, where it's volatile and there's cruelty and breaking up and sadness and you're yelling at each other and whatever, underneath it is always love. So always, and it depends on what kind of love you're fixating on. So I liked what you said, Jack, when you said, it's hard for him because he really loves her and he wants her to be better. But to him, that's his version of better. It's not her version of better.
Right. So
what do you think his action of love is? Let me make sure I'm explaining this correctly. Underneath all the anger, underneath all the love, where do you think his anger stems from?
Well, okay, I sense kind of like almost two questions there, because I think that he's deeply acting from a place where I think that though it is entitled, he thinks that he knows what's best for her and she doesn't, because he doesn't think much of her upbringing and of her environment.
Okay.
So I think there's just he just thinks he's right, and she, that's it. But then maybe there's an emotional level, like maybe what's triggering his anger, maybe there's a complex about a need to be heard or something. Maybe there's a deep thing there, a triggering thing there. Maybe in his childhood he I don't know, doesn't feel listened to or want. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think you could be on a right path there. Because like I said, it always comes back to this internal feeling, and that's where we project on other people. So just like you said, I think I think he's right in wanting the best for her, but underneath it, what it comes from is love for her. And then underneath that, it comes from, I need to be in control because of these things that have happened either in my childhood or in my past experiences that have left me feeling as though I have no voice.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe he's just in denial about, maybe he's in denial too about like, he thinks he can handle more than he can. He's not accepting his own limitations of his emotional capacity.
Sure.
Maybe
Yeah,
he just can't handle the ride with her. I mean, she'll probably get better. It's just going to take a long time. And he just can't accept, I don't know, maybe he's a people pleaser. He's having a hard time accepting that. Maybe he's having a hard time actually inviting pleasure and happiness and love into his own life. He wants to fix her rather than just going, you know what? I don't need this.
Yeah, I'm over it. And yeah, you don't want to quit fighting for that control. I think
Right.
that's interesting. And Amanda, I want you to chime in on this too. What do you guys think about the idea that, have you ever heard some people come into your life for a reason and sometimes they come into your life to teach you a lesson and then leave? I wonder if there's an idea about that too with Charlie, where Charlie realizes that he's not, because you just said, you know, she's going to get better one day, but it won't be from you.
Right.
So you'll be the one teaching her the lesson, but at the end of the day, you won't be the one to get the girl, but you might be the one to teach her the lesson, which is really, really hard in a relationship.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Amanda?
I agree. I think eventually I'll realize something maybe in the future, like after we broke up a couple of years later or something. And then change, get better.
That's interesting. Because I'm gonna have to see the scene because I want her to keep her fire, but you know, wasting her time doing drugs and alcohol, all that stuff may not be obviously the most positive choices. But she has to keep some of herself in there. So I think that'll be interesting because I'm thinking in the future if these characters end up together or not. Later down the road, if she calls Charlie and says, hey, I was wrong, but part of me thinks she may do that and Charlie's already long gone. You know, Charlie moved on and not it's not like Jackie missed her shot, but maybe there's some sort of conversation down the road where it's like, hey, I get what you were doing 20 years ago when you were trying to help me and this is who I am now and I'm going down a rabbit hole. I do this. I'm like, let me figure out the entire play within my mind. Let's just write the play right now.
Write the 1.5-page scene.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, I know it. I've seen this before. Okay, awesome, guys. That's great. So we're going to run the scene in a little bit, but I just wanted to grab those questions from you. So go ahead and stop your videos. Thank you very much.
Right.
And let's go ahead and grab Joanne and Vicky. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so let's chat a little bit. I know you guys did some character development this week, so I'm interested to hear your answers to these questions. Vicky, go ahead and tell me, will you remind me of her name?
Her name is Candy.
Candy, and will you remind me of Candy's point of view in this scene?
Well, Candy is, she was in the scene that we do, she is 28 or 38.
Okay.
Okay, but the scene really goes back to how did we get there was the fact that at 18 I left the house and left my sister, which is Noel. And so, you know, in her point of view, where she's coming from when she makes the call is that she has come back to a spot in her life where she feels like that she is a better person now. She's on the right road. She's trying to get her life together and she sort of has. She's got a job now and she's doing decently. And she wants to call her sister and tell her and try to explain why she left.
Okay.
And get back with her. She feels the need to do that because she still loves her sister and she regrets that part of her life actually, because now she's older and realizes that what she did was like a child thing. She was in the 18s, you know, and she was influenced by friends that weren't good. She got into drugs and sex and was drinking and stuff. And then she ended up like out on the streets, you know,
Okay.
in her
She's gone
20s.
through a lot of life.
Yeah. And then she was kind of like homeless, and how she got back together, she was in a homeless shelter for
Okay.
a little bit. And she met a guy there who was like one of the heads there of the homeless shelter. And he kind of talked to her and got her back on track. So that's how she came around, and she stopped, you know, all the crap of, you know, all
Great.
those things. And then
Okay.
she ended up in New York.
So let me ask you this, Vicky, or Candy. Candy?
Yes, I'm Candy.
Candy, why now? Why? What was the inciting incident that made you make the phone call?
Well, I think, honey, no, because in this scene, I am from the South, and I kept my Southern drawl.
I love it.
Yeah, so she really, I think she gets back on track, because once she gets to New York, she sees all these families and she sees them together. And then it brings back kind of like memories of, she did have a good family, you know? It
Yeah.
wasn't like she had a bad family life. She just got into a bad crowd in her late, you know, when she was graduating in high school, and she went off with them instead.
Perfect.
Without even asking or doing anything. She just left. So basically, and so I think that she saw these people, and now she realizes, wow, I'm a better person, and I probably should call my sister and tell her I'm sorry, and we can get together now.
Okay.
She kind of doesn't think that her sister would hate her for it. I think that's gone. Her view is like, I'm a better person now. I've cleaned up my act, and I want to call her. I've seen all these families, and I really want to get back together with her.
Great. Okay. I think you're spot on that. Okay, so Joanne, tell me about the point of view of Noel, spelled like a boy.
She's so weird. So, okay, so she was very crushed when her sister left, and so she's moved on with her life, and she was able to find her way without her. But she did miss her very badly, and she pictured the day that she would see her again so many times, and like what she would say and how she would handle it. And then when she finally does, she totally is caught off guard.
Right.
And it's going how of all the scenarios that she had pictured in her head, this isn't one of them. So initially she's quite shocked, and she doesn't really know what to, how to handle it. And then she gets pretty angry, because then once she realizes, oh, this is the moment, then all of the emotion that she's been keeping inside her and having to deal with on her own just comes out. And so she's pretty mad. And she's kind of she's stonewalling, because she doesn't want to let her back in.
Right. Even though
she wants to let her back in, but
Yeah.
she doesn't trust her to let her back in. So there's that conflict inside her. But in order to protect herself, she's like, I am not letting you in.
I'm not doing it. What do you think Noel's character arc is from the beginning of the scene to the end of the scene?
So again, she's surprised initially. Well, the way we ended the scene, so she's surprised at first, and then she's dealing with all the stuff that she's dealt with all these years. And then the end, it is still open, because she did want her back in her life. She does want her back in her life, but she doesn't know what that looks like, and she doesn't know if she's just going to leave her again or what. So she, at the very end, she has like a little crack. There's a little crack that maybe she can slip in.
Okay, great. So I think, would you agree that you would say Noel has a pride issue?
Well, yes, it's pride, but I think mostly it's just self-preservation. I think that she had to work so hard to get over the loss of her sister that she doesn't ever want to feel that again. She doesn't ever want to be in the position to where she could be that hurt by her, because she was a jerk.
Okay, I love that. And I'd like to share with you guys a little bit of my personal situation, which is very similar to what you guys are creating. And that really kind of is my real life with my sister and I. My sister is 11 years older than me, and we have never been friends, ever. And we're very different, and it took a long time. I'm now, 26, and we are friends now. But I was crushed, like, because I took this idea that I lived my whole life knowing really deep in my heart that my sister loved me because she's my sister, but she never really liked me. And she never tried. And we've gotten to this point where we're so much older, but I am very reserved when it comes to her because I was so hurt that I had to figure out a way to release her. And now it's tough having a relationship because I find myself slipping back into like wanting to please her and wanting her to be proud of me and wanting her to acknowledge me, right? So I wonder if Noelle is feeling this way where, just like you said, she's worked so hard to release that part of her life, but she knows she's going to answer the freaking phone when Candy calls.
Yeah.
And she's picked up, you know what I mean? So I there's this like really interesting feeling there where it's like, you think you're over someone and you think you've released them from your life and you're not bitter anymore. And then they call and you pick up because they're family.
Right.
At the end of the day, they're family. And that says so, so much. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. Okay, last question for you guys. How would you, from your perspective, now I haven't seen the scene, I saw it in whole, but I need to re-see it with your guys' reruns and remakes of it. But in your opinion, how do you see Candy and Noelle's relationship ending up?
For me, I think that we're going to get together eventually. It may take some time, like, the attitude that she has at the end of the phone call leaves a little bit of room to think that we might get together still.
Cool, okay.
How we ended it, I feel. But it's not a nice, as far as I was concerned, it really wasn't a nice ending for me.
Okay.
But I had the attitude that, she'll come around.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if she felt that way. Did you, Joanne?
I think 100% they're going to get together. I don't think that Noelle could not allow her back into her life, but I think that she wants to feel like she can live without her because she's had to live without her for so long. But I don't think there's any way that Candy could reach out and Noelle wouldn't let her back in, even though she tries not to at first.
Yeah, that's interesting. But it's not like the next day they're going to get together. Like I imagine this being like even more so down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I think that Noelle is, again, because she's just trying to protect herself, is very resistant to the idea. But I think it's just like when ex-boyfriend and girlfriends get together and the girl's like, no, you're never coming back. And also,
Yes,
there he is.
Exactly. I totally respect that. And I think you're right on there. So yay, I'm so excited to see it. All right, let's have everybody come back in. You guys can keep your videos on. There they are. There they are. Where's Carol?
I don't know.
I'm not bored with our conversation.
Okay, I'm lost.
Oh, okay. You know what, Carol?
Yes.
Hold on. That was my fault. Hold on. Okay, I just asked you to start your video.
Okay. There I am.
There we go. I think what happens, I turned you off on accident. So what happens is once the host turns you off, you're kind of like silenced. So I have to turn you back on. I'm sorry, Carol. I'm like, go away, Carol.
I should act on me.
Say that again. You cut out.
Oh,
nothing. I just wanted you just had to restart your video. But because I stopped you, you can't restart it because I'm the host. So I basically just kicked you out of the party on accident. Gosh dang it. Okay, cool guys. So what I'd like to do is take 5. I just want us to get a break and then we'll come back and we'll start running these scenes. I'm probably going to put you guys into breakout rooms for a couple minutes so you can just kind of run over them together within this format, going through kind of the point of views that we were talking about. And Carol, in your breakout room, what I want you to do is just kind of take a minute. I'm going to join you, but I
Okay.
want you to go over your lines, and I want you to figure out a new perspective for Stephanie. So kind of based on what we went through last week, I would love to just kind of challenge you today, and it may be right or wrong, and you'll perform next week with Matt and it'll be great. But I'd love when I put you into your breakout room for you to look at Steffi in a different light. And I'm just going to push you as hard as I can.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
Now,
let's take 5, and then I will put you guys into breakout rooms when we come back.
okay.
Cool.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is stick you guys into breakout rooms just for a couple minutes, just so you can go over your stuff together. Have a minute to run through the scenes. Just going to be a couple minutes, and I just want to get right into repetitive runs so you guys can get the hang of it. And then you guys will be ready to go for next week. All right, here we go. I see double. Carol, you'll be in your own room.
Okay.
Don't get lonely in there, okay?
Big girl, I can do it.
Don't get lonely. Breakout room 2.
Okay.
Jack Bennett. Breakout room 1. Okay. See you guys in like 5. Here we go.
Okay. Am I supposed to do anything right now?
So do you see a button that says stop video?
No, I don't. So I maybe have to swipe.
Yeah, try to swipe.
Uh-huh.
Is there any button on there that says, or maybe down on the bottom, do you have an arrow?
I have 3 dots. That's all I see.
Okay, no big deal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop your video, and then I will bring you back in.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
It's gonna say host is asking you to start your video, and then just start it.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, Carol, can you see what's going on? Can you see me and Joanne right now?
I see just you right now.
You see me right now, okay. And when I stop, who do you see?
Deering Acting Studio.
Okay, go ahead and swipe back, and you should see Joanne.
I see Joanne.
Okay, perfect. All right, so now, Carol, you can go ahead and mute yourself.
Okay. Okay. Is that a button, or do I do that with my
That
bottom?
is, actually, I may be able to mute you. I can do it from here. All right, you're going on mute. Here we go. All right, got her. Okay, guys, so here we go. I'm going to mute myself and mute my video, and I just want you guys to start from the top, and let's see where we go. When you're ready.
Yeah, I can't see her, only just in a teeny little box, because on this screen here, I don't see her like I did before.
Hang tight 1 second.
Okay. Okay, she came on now. When you just opened the door, she came.
Of course.
So I don't know what it is that happened before. When you were doing switching around,
Yep.
that's what happened.
So this is just the difference. This is when you're gonna see her big. Would you rather see her big or see her next to each other?
You know what? Next to each other. I
You like
didn't know
that
I
better?
could see me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way you guys can actually see each other, so you don't have to press anything from there.
Okay. Alrighty. Hey, Joe.
I see you.
Okay, now when you're ready.
Okay.
Oh, wait, now I lost her. Hold on. Shay.
You lost her?
Okay, I got her. I got her back. Is the phone not working again?
I guess your phone's not going through. Hold on, I'm gonna try it again.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that, Shay. The phone's not ringing for her. I'll try it again. Ready?
Okay. Did you hit send?
I did. It rang on my end.
It did.
Yeah.
I
So,
heard it go too.
Well, I
okay.
called her once so that she could call me right back because mine wasn't ringing. So you might have heard her phone ring.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna try it one more time. Okay, babe.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for picking up.
I wondered if I was ever going to hear from you again.
I am so excited to hear your voice.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we really should talk. I think that, I'd like to tell you about all that happened and why I did what I did and what was going on. And
No need.
well, I just don't think that's your call to make. I mean, there are two sides to the story.
Maybe in your story there is.
Are you seriously not going to confront this with me?
Now's not really a good time for me.
Well, I am sorry for everything.
I've moved on. You should too.
I created this mess.
You did. And I'll always remember that.
It's your turn.
My turn to what?
You know.
Oh no. That's not going to happen. Ever.
I am trying to connect with you. I am trying to give this a chance, give us a chance.
You're not understanding this, are you? We are never, under any circumstances, gonna understand each other. You threw any chance of that ever happening away when you did what you did.
All I am trying to do here is to get us back to the way that we were.
We? There is no we in the situation. There is a you and there is a me. You ruined any we that once was. That's it.
It's like you don't listen to me. It's like you don't even hear me.
Well, at least we can agree on that.
See,
Woo! Awesome, ladies. All right.
I know it comes out when I get upset.
I love the re-rats. I really do.
You made me upset.
When I start drinking, that's when her accent comes back because she gets.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So okay, tell me the choice about the. I might go from one end to the other here. So these are just the things that are popping up in my head. Tell me the choice about the alcohol, Vicky.
Okay, so she has she's gotten back, now to a normal life, and so she really wasn't an alcoholic as such. She was just doing bad things.
Okay.
And so, she was just going out and drinking and doing drugs and having sex. And so when she got off the streets and then she got herself together and she got a job, and it's been now 20 years, she now can handle having an alcoholic beverage. She's not an alcoholic. But it's like when I start drinking, that's when Noel, my sister, gets kind of mad because she only remembers me being bad when I drank.
Okay. And Noel, what is your opinion of the alcohol?
So as soon as she picks up that drink, I feel like there's no way she's changed. She's who I remember her to be when she left. And so I'm like, this is a waste of time.
Okay. Cool. So she thinks she's clean and sober. And to you, because I mean, it's super interesting what you said, Vicky, because, and I think a lot of people, most people have had a touch or an experience with alcoholism in their life or somebody that they love. And, an alcoholic can't ever just have another drink sometime in their life. They can't. So, that they can't just, okay, well, I'm good now and I can have a drink. And everybody knows that, right? Mm-hmm. You just can't. And I think, Noel, do you think that she's an alcoholic?
So because she left, I think that Noel's heard stories, that she's heard, but she never saw anything because she left. So she never she left. She just disappeared. And so the only thing that Noel was left with were what people would say in front of her, because a lot of people wouldn't talk about her sister in front of her because they didn't want to upset her and they wanted to protect her from what her sister had become. So she has a very limited view of what the reality was for her sister, but she has, based on what little seeds were planted in her when she was little, she just kind of filled in the blanks as she
got it. So your reaction to the alcohol, here's where I'm going with this, is I think, Vicky, if it's not about alcoholism, which this scene really, really isn't about, it could be a touch here and there of Noel not supporting you drinking, because that just means you're not changed. But I would make it less noticeable that you're taking a drink, and all that is practice. So that's having a conversation while you have the drink in your hand and taking a quick sip. And that's tough. So that's tough as an actor. So what it looks like right now is that you're making it a super big move when it's taking too much time away. And then what happens is, Joanne, you reacted like it was more than it is. And it took too much time. So what I'd love to see, there's so much power in subtlety. And I was talking to Vicky about this last week, and it's hard for us, especially theatrical trained as we are, to not make these big movements because we're used to having to do it in front of an audience, and we need to be very planned of when we move. But there's so much power in you looking at her and making the most subtle head nod or eyebrow raise or swallowing, to make it a part of the scene, but it's not about that. Because as soon as I saw the alcohol being brought in, I was like, okay, it's more about the alcohol than it is about anything else. So we have to refine that down. Vicky, you have to make it more a part of you. If it's going to be a part of you, it has to be more natural. Okay. So you just have to practice.
I did it slower on purpose, so now I know, because I took away all the mannerisms because of how we had that talk.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not waving my hands and going like this anymore. So what we talked about is because I'm not doing anything really except for facial movements the whole time.
Yep.
I needed to kind of do something, and that's where I came up with, well, what if I was to take a drink when I was getting a little bit upset at you?
I like that a lot. You just have to make it more authentic to the character.
Okay, so
And
don't take so much time.
yes, yes. And just make it more a part of her. If it's going to be there, have it there, you know, have your hand on it. It doesn't have to be in the scene, but it's here, you know, and it's kind of, and you're just kind of going there and back.
All right.
And that's where Joanne can just look at you, and we'll see it, Joanne. We'll be able to see it without you going, because it just takes too much time, and it takes too much time away from the words. From the beginning, okay, this is really nitpicky. I told you guys that, but you deserve it. So I told you I was going to be hard on you. This is an odd thing, but Joanne, I want you to be as stiff as a board in your chair.
I know, I was fidgeting around. I was.
Yeah, and what it did was it took power away from you in the scene. So when you were moving, it just, I wasn't focused on your words. It was almost like you were fidgeting, even though I knew you weren't. It was just the chair. You have to, I literally don't want you to move.
I was fidgeting because I was thinking that she was uncomfortable. And so she had this uncomfortable energy and she didn't know what to do with it. Because like when she comes back into her life, she is that 14-year-old again.
Yeah, sure.
Like, but I understand. It's too distracting, so I can take that out.
Find a different way to fidget. Mm-hmm. Find a something you play with on your hand. Maybe it's a continual hair movement. You know, so it's something that's really natural, but it's something that the audience will go, oh, okay. Because I think you're right on that. Just a different type of fidget.
Okay.
When we talked about, okay, then we got to, okay, when you did what you did, that was my last note. I think you should change it to when you abandoned me or when you left.
Okay. I like
because
left.
You're giving so much to it now. I know what's going on in the story. I understand. And then did what you did. At this point, you can tell us.
Okay. Okay, because so it was written that way because it's an ambiguous scene, but now we can go ahead and throw it in there that when you left. You big jerk. Okay.
Yeah. And that's all you have to say. You know, that's the emotional point. You did what, you know, you threw all that away when you left. And then boom. Vicky, when you start, I would love for you to be fixing your hair or doing something like kind of taking your glasses, that maybe that's when you take your first sip. Because I loved what was, you have these see, this is what I do, Vicky. I take them all away from you and then I add them back in. I love the subtlety of the way that you, Joanne, the top of the scene, you guys, was excellent. And then we got a little bit on top of each other. So at the top of the scene, Vicky, I want to see more of her panic when she's calling.
Okay.
Just a little bit. It's just, you know, it's that same thing. It's fluffing your hair. It's taking a, what do they call that? A sip of courage or whatever.
Yeah, the liquid courage.
Liquid courage.
Yeah, liquid courage, you know, you're taking the liquid courage. And because there's so much that we see about the sisters right beforehand, and then it happens. And then I think, Joanne, honestly, the biggest thing for you is going to be remember last week when I was talking about when you're cold, you want to be as not cold as possible. Mm-hmm. It's that same thing. So on the inside, you want to say all these things that 14-year-old self wants to say, but you're not that girl anymore.
Right.
And she's bringing it out of you, and that irritates you. You're not her anymore. You've released her, and she called. It's that same thing we were just talking about. So in your brain, you have to pinch yourself every time she brings you back to being like, well, that's not what happened, or whatever. And you have to settle and take back control of the conversation.
Okay. So that's what I didn't understand, I guess. I didn't understand that when I was experiencing that. I don't show that. I'm just in my head, I'm feeling that, but I can still be in control of myself. Okay.
So
Okay.
your subtext, that's your subtext. That's
Okay.
what's going
I'm
on.
not showing that at all. Okay.
Right.
This
But
is
you
how.
are-
This is what's telling you I'm such a newbie. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, no,
I
but
don't know what's happening.
great. And this is a tough lesson to learn about subtext because you're protruding the feel. Like, honestly, I know it sounds kind of like woo, but your energy as the actor will show what it's supposed to show. But if you show it on the outside, then you lose power and you lose control and you lose the point of view of who she's become.
Okay.
So, and that's tough. You got to shove it down, and you shoving it down in your brain will show us how frantic you are about being in control.
Okay.
And Vicky, character wise, I thought you did great. I wanted to, so now another thing, I take it out of you and I'm going to put it right back in you. Be careful to listen to everything she's saying and don't take too much time for a pause.
Okay.
Because there's a couple times, and when you guys watch this back, you'll see it. There's a couple times where it went a second and a half too long.
Okay.
And you should have responded just a little bit quicker. And that could have just been your mind being a little, your mind trying to confuse you, and that happens. And maybe you lost a line here or there or whatever it may be. But you're really good at patience, and you're really, really good at pacing. So now what you have to do is find the rhythm between the two of you. So that's going to be your big homework this week, is finding the ebb and flow between the ups and downs. Figure out where your processing points are. Figure out where each character is listening, reacting, and responding, and at what rhythm do they do that at to make it sound as authentic and natural as possible.
Okay.
So are we able to watch this back? I didn't know if they were uploading.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yes. We didn't know if we were recording last week.
Oh, the recording light is on, and it was on last week, but I didn't know we could watch it back. Can we watch it?
So yes, and because I finally figured out what I'm doing with the record button. So yes, I will absolutely allow you to watch them back. It was just last week we didn't send them because we couldn't figure out if we were doing the right thing with the record.
Okay, that'll be.
I'll send it to you guys.
Okay, great.
You guys can watch the scene back.
Did you get when the part that kind of gets me is I did the pauses, and practice different timing on them. We actually did that when we were practicing, and the longer pause was kind of like because she's just like almost in disbelief that she would say something like that to her, because she kind of thought, in my mind, I kind of thought that after the beginning, when I'm like friendly and say, so nice to hear your voice, blah, 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 that she would come back at me like, you're not getting this.
Right.
And I'm like, and so I was trying to, that's where the pausing and the drinking so slow went, is I was trying to make it a point to take that time, like people would know, like, without making it obvious, like, I'm really mad at you now, so I'm going to take 20 minutes to drink this drink and then we'll chat.
Right, absolutely. And that's where it gets tough, Vic, because that's where you have to figure out, okay, am I justifying my pause correctly, or is it going just a minute too long?
Okay.
And it's
also,
hard for you to feel that.
The words that come in there is do you get the part that said, because it was very confusing even when I was doing it 2 other times with 2 other people, the line that says, it's your turn, and then it's like, no what? And it's like, so in my mind, I want an apology from her.
Right.
I want her to say, well, I'm sorry too for never calling you or trying to get you or trying to find you, and then she's like, are you kidding me? You're never going to get an apology from me. So that's
a great question, Vicki.
It's hard for me to, why am I saying, those words seem weird to me. It's like, your turn.
Okay, so
like a little kid.
So change them. So tell her what you want from her then, because I think that's a good point, and I think you're right. If you say, well, it's your turn. And what do you say, Joanne?
I say, my turn for what?
My turn for what?
Okay.
So
and then she answers with that's never gonna happen ever.
Okay, so Vicki, here's my suggestion for that line. Instead of say an apology works both ways.
Okay.
Because that way it kind of tells us what's going on, but instead of you saying, it's your turn to apologize,
Yeah.
well, an apology works both ways. And that's when, Joanne, you're like, oh, no. No. That's not happening.
Okay, that's in the line that comes after I already say your turn, and then she says for what, and then I say an apology works both ways, right? Is that what
Yes.
she's saying?
Yep,
Okay.
that's what I mean.
All right.
And then that's when Joanne will respond and be like, no. And if Joanne, you need to change that line to make it make more sense, you totally can.
I feel like that still works. I mean, I feel like she would be like, I don't have anything to apologize. You know, so
Yeah.
I think we're saying, oh no.
Because you know, and it would be stupid for you to be like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what she's asking for.
And I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not participating.
Yeah. I would like to be removed from this conversation.
I would like
Unsubscribe.
to be removed from
Okay,
Snap.
I appreciate that. I just, because that was it, even when we did it, I did it before. I'm like, your turn. I'm
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, and she does know, so let's just say it. You guys are grown women. Like, let's just say it.
give me
All
an
right.
apology, will ya?
Great job, you guys. Excellent. I can't wait to see this. You know what to work on this week. Let's come back and hit it hard next week.
Okay,
You know?
thanks.
Woo-hoo.
Woo. Thanks,
All
Joanne.
right, can I grab Amanda and Jack attack, please? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me see this thing when you guys are ready.
Hey, check out this place. I think we should go next weekend.
Where is it at?
It's like 2 hours away from here.
Oh, actually, I just remembered I promised Olivia that I'd go to a barbecue party next weekend.
Really? We haven't been on a date in like forever, and you'd rather spend next weekend barbecuing with Olivia?
No.
Jack, this is really good. The beginning is super strong.
Yeah.
Amanda, when you say the barbecue line, don't make it so awkward. You're making it too obvious for him to get mad.
Okay.
So say that barbecue, or Jack, will you start your line again?
Yeah.
Okay.
From before that.
Yes.
It's like 2 hours away from here.
Oh, actually just promised Olivia that I'd go to her barbecue party next weekend.
Really? We haven't been on a date in like forever, and you'd rather spend next weekend barbecuing at Olivia's?
No, but I did promise her.
Okay. So, would you like me to go and help out?
I think I'll just go by myself, if that's cool with you.
Why?
I don't know. I just need a break from you, I guess.
It seems like you've been
Really
on a
good.
pretty. Oh,
Jack, go back. Go
Yeah.
back and say, oh, it's so much better, you guys. I can't wait for you to see this. Go back and say, okay, so you'd rather blah, blah, blah. No, but I did promise her. Be more nonchalant about, so do you want me to help out? Like, just
Sure.
really sure.
oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. And you'd rather spend it barbecuing with Olivia?
No, but I did promise her.
Okay. So, would you like me to come and help out?
I think I'll just go by myself, if that's cool with you.
Why?
I don't know. I just need a break from you, I guess.
It seems like you've been on a pretty long break. What'd I do to you?
Are you mad or something?
No, I'm not mad. I'm just wondering why you're always trying to hang out with your friends without me. It's not like it's going to be some kind of girls' night. I'm sure Dylan and Steven will be there. So what's the problem if I come?
I just don't want you to be all over me all the time.
How can you feel that way?
Pause. This is excellent. I'm gonna throw a big old curveball at you.
Yeah.
I want you guys to start the scene over. Jack, did you feel, and Amanda, because I had you both do it, did you feel how much more normal it was when you were just talking instead, because Jack, you came at her early, and that's why I had you go back down to just being more like cool, calm, and collected. And same thing with you, Amanda. It was like you came at it with the dig really early, and that's what the line is meant to do. But what we want to do, I want you guys to start from the top and be happy. Be happy, and I want every line, Jack, I want you to hear it, but I want you to be like, okay, and on the Steven line, like, oh, well, I'm sure even when you're saying like,
yeah, I'm trying to be Mr. Chill about it.
Yeah, it's cool with me. It's
I know
cool.
what you mean.
And Amanda, you're the same way. You're like, I just need a break from you.
I see what you mean.
So because it's just going from 0 to 60 too quick, and the lines are too good for you to rush it.
Okay.
So I want you to go back, be nonchalant, and then I will hit it when, if you guys don't find it, I'll tell you exactly where that line is, where all of a sudden we go from 0 to 60.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, check out this place I found. I think we should go next weekend.
Oh, where is it at?
It's like 2 hours away from here.
Oh, actually, I just remembered. I promised Olivia that I'd go to her barbecue party next weekend.
Really? We haven't been out on a date in forever, and you'd rather spend next weekend barbecuing with Olivia?
No, but I did promise her.
Okay. So, would you like me to come and help out?
I think I'll just go by myself, if that's cool with you.
Why?
I don't know. I just need a break from you, I guess.
It seems like you've already been on a pretty long break. I'm sorry, did I do something to you?
Are you mad or something?
No. I'm not mad. It just feels like you've been trying to hang out with your friends without me. And this isn't like a girls thing. I'm sure Steven and Dylan will be there, so why can't I go?
I just don't want you to be all over me all the time.
I don't know how you can feel that way, because you're doing this a lot. Last weekend you went to a house party and didn't tell me at all.
Because I didn't think you would enjoy it.
What makes you say that?
Okay, you don't smoke weed, you don't like crowds, you can't stand cigarettes, and you're always judging my friends.
Well, yeah, because they're a terrible influence. You said they do hard drugs at work.
See? You act like you're this perfect dude, but really, you're just entitled because you're rich. You can just get whatever you want.
Everybody has to work hard to get what they want. Oh, my phone, sorry. Everyone has to work hard to get what they want, Jackie. Why don't you help Kira with her online shop ever?
She didn't ask me.
Offer it. Why don't you do something for somebody instead of going out and getting wrecked 3 nights a week? I promise you'll feel a lot better.
I didn't say it's the right thing to do, but it's my way. And if you don't like it, don't be with me then.
Why do you jump to that? Everything you're saying is so dumb right now.
Fuck you.
See?
Okay. Total change. Loved it. Great. Excellent. Did you feel the difference or no? Because tell me honestly, if you felt like it was better when it was more conversational, or if you felt like you wanted to jump faster.
I feel like in a way I want to, like, there's this expression that I just don't want to show it.
Mm-hmm.
Not expression, more like emotions towards him that I just don't want to show like I still have like my walls, I guess, in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too. And there was this excellent moment where, I mean, the whole first part until you got to, why don't you ever ask her to help out? Like, and then what's the big dig in your guys' opinion?
Well, actually, okay, so that was good for me because I think trying to conceal it, I actually had a genuine like heart rate response like in that scene, which does not happen often for me in acting. So, like a real, like where I was kind of experiencing it. It never got like overwhelming, but I felt myself like real anger welling. And actually on this scene, it happened to me at the I don't want you all over me all the time. That's what happened to me there. That's just being honest. I don't know if textually I would like choose that if I was in a writing class as the moment, but in the scene for me as an actor, it was that time.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, there's a weird, like, I remember saying this last week too, like, that's a line that you can't really go, oh, I get it. You know, like there would be no way, Charlie, where you would be like, duh, you know, I understand what you're feeling. So I think you're validated in that, where you can totally just have this feeling of like, what did you say?
I panicked. Like in my head, it was like, no, I'm not that clingy. Like
exactly. But
in my head,
your panic turns into what? And then Amanda, as soon as you hear him hear it, because that's your first time being like, okay, this is what I'm really trying to tell you. And then he kind of escalates from there. Can we go back to that moment? Because so that was super, super strong. And then we got there and that's where we escalated. So I want to see if we can escalate a little bit slower. So Amanda, do that. I don't know. I just don't want you, and make it sound nice as much as you possibly can. I don't know. I just don't want you like all over me all the time. And then hear him hear it.
Okay. I don't know. I just don't want you to be all over me all the time.
I don't know how you can feel that way. You do this a lot. Last week you went to a party without even telling me.
Because I didn't think you would enjoy it.
What makes you say that?
Okay, you don't smoke weed. You don't like crowds. You can't stand cigarettes. And you're always judging my friends.
Because they're a terrible influence. You said they did. I forgot my line, sorry.
No, that's okay. That was, and I actually loved the pause. It was a second too long.
Right. Yeah.
It was a second too long because you forgot the line, but I loved the pause. So, and Amanda, I watched your face, but you got starey on that line. So when he says, because they're terrible influences, and you need to be like, see what I mean? Like, that's you going like, do you see? Yeah. This is why we're not working, is because you go from, you have an anger issue and you have a control issue. But so Amanda, I want you to take that pause and be like, okay. And then that's where Jack, you'll come back and be like, da 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 da. So do that line again for me.
My line or from hers?
Yeah, sorry, your line, Jack. Yeah. Oh, because your friends are terrible.
Because they're terrible influences. You told me that they do hard drugs at work.
See? Now I forgot my line. See? You act like you're this perfect dude, but really you're just entitled. Because you're rich. You can just get whatever you want.
Everyone has to work hard, Jackie. I don't care who you are. Why don't you ever help Kira with her online shop?
She didn't ask me.
Offer it.
Yeah.
Why don't you do something for somebody instead of going out and getting fucked up 4 nights a week? I promise it'll be a lot better for you.
Okay, Jack, come down. You just hurt her feelings really bad.
Yeah.
I didn't say it's the right thing to do, but it's my way. And if you don't like it, don't be with me then.
Why do you jump to that? Everything you're saying is so dumb.
Fuck you.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like
that
a
was
real
it.
slime ball. What? Yeah, it was better.
That was it.
Yeah.
And Amanda, your fuck you needs to be more of a statement at the end.
Okay.
So it was a fuck you, and it needs to be a fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah. But I liked
Yeah,
the
that's not
pause.
real.
I liked the pause a lot. You know, everything you're saying is so dumb. That also needs to be a statement, Jack. Because
Yeah.
I thought there was more to it, meaning it didn't land. So,
Yeah.
you know, everything you're saying is so dumb. Boom.
Yeah, in the moment I felt like I was like, oh, the line almost doesn't feel like it fits because my tactic was
Gotcha.
to like apologize a little bit, but it will work because if I deliver it with that intention but still say that, it'll be so patronizing. It'll be like, no, why do you jump to that, babe? Like, I want to be with you. It's just your problem is that everything you say is stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You know, because when I said come down, you heard
Yeah.
that. You're like, okay, I'm being a jerk, and then I want you to go in and be like, well, I don't know why you jumped to that. I mean, everything you say is so dumb.
Yeah.
That's when Amanda, you're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And then it's a
Well,
great ending to the scene.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great, you guys. This is really
That was
great.
really
I'm
helpful.
excited.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm excited to
Thank
see where this
you.
goes. This is gonna be like crazy, crazy huge for you guys. I'm cool.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great
Shay.
job.
Bye.
Let me grab Carol Bennett. Oh, sorry, Carol. I forgot.
Carol,
Sorry, I totally forgot I have all the power.
quit messing around and come make me dinner.
I promise. I'm only going to keep her for like 10 minutes.
He already had dinner. He's just teasing. Jack.
What'd you say?
I brought him in so he can watch Jack.
Yeah, that was good. I
Wasn't
like
that great?
That got real. I was getting angry.
They killed it. I know. I can see it. I don't want to make Jack Bennett angry ever.
Oh, well, they were good. That was very good.
I'm pretty sure he would beat me in a fight
Good
for
coach.
sure. With words.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So I was reading through this and over again to see what else I could pull from this. And
Yeah.
okay, so this is the biggest thing I found. For your information, it was one of the nicest times we've had together. Well, you're weird. I like my sex without any distractions. I would call someplace, but I don't know where to call. So that's interesting because I talked about this last week that's a hit point for Steffi. Because she's saying that was really nice. Now, why do you think she's trying to make Herb feel better in this scene, in your opinion?
Because she recognizes he is down in the dumps, and so maybe just a nice, compassionate person.
Yeah. Do you
Feel
believe it that it was one of the best times?
No.
Or are you just saying that? Oh, you're just saying that.
Just saying that.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Okay, that's interesting because
Or theory. The other theory is she could have her mind on Monty Walsh the whole time and not even be present for Herb, who was not.
I love it.
So
I
so
like
she,
that idea.
like,
I like that. All right, so I'm going to stay on the line with you, and let's have you go into the bathroom.
Okay. Here I am.
The tough part, Carol, is that I want you to be as Steffi as you can, and
Okay.
I'm not gonna try to be Herb because I'm not Matt, but I'm gonna do my best to give you what he's given you in the past, so that way you can react off of it as best you can.
All right, so it's okay. I know how you feel.
You do?
Yeah, it was a lousy day for me too. Big Star came in an hour and a half late. We all had to work overtime. Sorry if I spoiled dinner.
You didn't spoil anything.
I did. I came late. Chicken was a little dry. Sorry.
It was timed for 8 o'clock. I mean, the kid makes a chicken. Baked potatoes, sour cream, chives, 2 vegetables, and a chocolate mousse. The least you could have done was call.
There were 20 grips trying to get at the phone. I thought I'd make better time on the freeway.
She even made this beautiful little menu. Potatoes, germaine, peas a la Libby, all the artwork she did herself. She drew the chef's hat. She watered colored little bunnies around the edge.
It's gorgeous. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, this is great so far, and I love what you've done with it. Here's the 2 things I'm noticing. You have said now 3 times, it's okay, I know how you feel. You've said it was a lousy day for me too. You've said there were 20 grips trying to get at the phone. Has he at all taken time to realize that you've had a bad day?
No, he's not listening to me.
At all.
No.
So you have to think about that, and that has to affect you.
Okay.
That's one big thing. And then this is really interesting. I'm just looking at this script now. She watercolored little bunnies around the edges. It's gorgeous. You cut him off. Because so you got to cut him off because you're done. You're done listening to it.
And that gorgeous is kind of sarcastic. Like she's
it's gorgeous.
That's
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
So let's go back to, there were 20 grips. So I'm going to say the least you could have done was call.
Okay. There were 20 grips trying to get at the phone. I thought I'd make better time on the freeway.
She even made these beautiful little menus, potatoes germaine, peas a la Libby, all the artwork she did herself. She drew the chef's hat. She watercolored little bunnies around the edges.
It's gorgeous. I don't know what else to say.
Would you leave her a note? Would you tell her the dinner was fantastic?
I'll tell her tonight. When is she coming home?
I don't know. She's been out there 3 or 4 hours, nights like this week, and I don't know where she is or what she's doing. What is it now, 12:30? Don't you think that's kind of late?
No. I think it's kind of wonderful. Welcome to the world of worried parents. How does it feel, Herb?
I don't like it.
Being parent or being worried?
Do I get a choice?
Nope. It's a package deal. To love someone is to be scared every minute of your life.
In 2 years with you, sorry, it cut off. In 2 years with you, I don't know, it cut off, but I've been preoccupied in bed. It's very hard to keep stimulated while you're listening for a car to drive up.
Well, for your information, that was one of the nicest times we've had together.
Well, you're weird. I like my sex without any distractions. I would call someplace, but I don't know where to call.
Interesting. How worked up you're getting over a perfect stranger.
What do you mean, stranger? She's my daughter, isn't she?
She's been your daughter for 16 years, but you need a telescope to notice it.
I didn't know what she was like. She wasn't real to me. I thought she hated me. Never thought she'd want to see me. I lived all these years. I don't know a goddamn thing about my life.
How come you just have 2 trees?
What?
You've got a lemon tree and an orange tree. You've got room for a few more. You got one that's dying you don't pay any attention to. I was wondering why you just have 2 trees.
Okay, what's the symbolism behind that?
Kids. 1 tree's for each of his kids.
Okay. And you've got a lemon tree and an orange tree. You've got room for a few more. You've got one that's dying that you don't pay any attention to. I was wondering why you have just 2 trees. So, but what if you are the one that's dying?
Oh, well, we established that it's his ex-wife. And then
Oh, okay.
on to say, who do you want to be? And I'm like, he goes, I'll buy a pot and plant you. And
Cool.
she goes, I'm gonna be Steffi.
Yep. Oh, right. Okay. So that's interesting. I was wondering why you just have 2 trees. So are you asking that to say, why don't I get a tree?
Where do I fit in, I think?
Where do I fit in? And that's where he says, okay, cool. I give up my 2 kids so I grow 2 trees. So I left 16 kids. I'd have Yosemite National Park back there, right? I don't think we should see each other anymore, Steffi. I'm not sure it's healthy to be having sex with your analyst.
Don't look at me. I just raised the questions, not the trees.
So what's your point? Libby is my orange and Carl is my lemon? And their mother is the dried up one with the pits? Is that it?
I didn't mean it to be so literal. I don't even know why I thought of it. I just thought of it.
Ooh. And who are you? I don't see you growing around here.
I don't see me growing around here either.
Who do you want to be? A rose, a tulip, a rhododendron? I get a pot and I'll plant you tomorrow.
I want to be Steffi. I want to be somebody that sees you more than whenever it just suits your fancy. I want to move on with our relationship, Herb.
Okay, I'm going to spend these last 2 minutes making you do that line over and over again. Do that last line, and I want you to make me hear it.
Okay.
Be mad.
Oh, be mad. Okay, I was thinking I was being sad. Okay.
Be mad.
I want to be Steffi, and I want to be somebody that sees you more than whenever just suits your fancy. I want to move on with our relationship, Herb.
Heighten that and go double time for me.
I want to be Steffi. I want to be somebody that sees you more than whenever it just suits your fancy. I want to move on with our relationship, Herb.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying that's right, but I just wanted you to feel that because the sadness has anger underneath it, and then the anger underneath that has love, always, right? So you have to pick and choose when it comes to that line. I want to be Steffi, and I want to be somebody who sees you more than whenever it just suits your fancy. I want to move on with our relationship, Herb. So I want you to make each of those lines important.
Okay.
Here's where I think what I'd like you to do, Carol, is, and I want to give you props. Actually, let's have everybody come back in here so I can talk about you in front of everybody. Okay, so Carol Bennett has gone from literally 0 to literally 10,000 in this program. And every character she plays is this excellent representation of who the character is and can be. But Carol, there's something about you that is so special, but your words get lost underneath the scene. And Steffi is unimportant. Her words are unimportant in this scene. And you are such a strong and talented actor, and this goes for everybody. Your words are important. And even though Steffi isn't the focal point of this play, it's not all about Steffi, and it's not all about the relationship between Steffi and Herb. What you have to say in the scene is very important. And the tone that you have a little bit makes it that she's not important and that she doesn't think she's important. And I want you to throw that shit out the window.
Okay.
And so my intention was to have you go from 0 to 60, which we've worked on this before with you. And it's tough. It's tough to go from 0 to 60, and it's tough to be really mad, especially because people who know you know Carol Bennett as this angel and very, very perfect. Now, and I've got your son in here. Your son knows you're not perfect. We know you're not perfect. I know you've gotten mad. I know you cry, but I want to see more of the human form of Stephanie.
Okay.
And I want you to let her be a little bit vulnerable, and which you're doing very well. So take the vulnerability and add on her self-importance. Make her lines important. Make her important to Herb. Because I can see why she's getting lost in the sauce just with the lines, and you're better than that as an actor.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I struggle with the first part of this whole scene of getting to the lines to really feel natural coming from me. But yes, I'm glad you're giving me permission to show some more anger and more emotion, because for some reason I was getting the feeling I was not to do that. So silly to say that, but I will definitely take that and bring it up notches.
Yeah, and think about it too, because if obviously what Matt says, that's what I train from. But in the case that you don't want to go yelly, obviously you're not yelling at him. That would not make sense, but it's just putting more emotion and putting more feeling into those words. And in turn, that's going to show us a little bit more of what's underneath Steffi, and just let it go. And even if it's wrong, I had you just do that. It was wrong the way I had you do that. And I did it on purpose just because I wanted you to feel that there was a little, there's some guttural feelings underneath her. And even though Herb doesn't see it or care to see it, it's there. And the audience wants to see it. So that way we understand that Steffi's not really one to mess with.
Okay.
Excellent job, you guys. I'm sorry I went 10 minutes over. I love you guys so much, and I apologize. I just try to give you my very best, and I shouldn't go 10 minutes over, so I apologize for that.
No, we
I know you do, and I appreciate you appreciating it, and I appreciate you staying on until 10:10. But I love you guys. You guys know what to do for next week. Make sure, too, that you've got, I can see everybody's got their costumes on, so I love that. The only thing I wanted to add is, I don't want to throw this at you at the very end, but Jack and Amanda, if you wanted to add something to do during your scene, I would do it. So if Amanda, you're on a computer, Jack, I can see you like weirdly folding laundry or something to give you something to look up and down at. So the conversation flows a little bit more slowly, and then we build up. Because right now it's like I can just see you guys going at each other and you're looking right across from each other. Whereas it's different with Joanne and Vicky's scene because they are having that conversation face to face. But you guys, this is just another FaceTime call in your relationship, right? This isn't like a big deal when you guys talk until it becomes a big deal. So have something physical to do. Cool. Thank you guys. I hope you had a great class. I sure did.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Absolutely. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you soon.
And Shay,
Okay.
you give us the links, right? So we can watch our previous weeks.
Yep,
Okay,
I sure will.
great.
Once it's done recording, it'll tell me tomorrow that it's ready, so I can send it to you tomorrow.
Okay. Will we get last week's also, or just this week's?
I'm gonna figure out if I recorded it.
Okay.
I think I did, but I'm gonna double check that I recorded. I might have not recorded it at the right time, so I'm gonna try my very best. You may get it, you may not.
If the
I'll get you this week.
classes was recorded, will that go out too?
The in studio?
Yeah, theirs, yeah.
I don't, it just depends on, it's on YouTube, actually. It's on YouTube. So if I can send you guys the link to it so you can watch it.
Okay, that's fine.
To the in studio one. I'm trying to go through this in my head and decide if I can do that, but yes, I can do that. And Carol, what were you gonna say?
Cut our scene at 5 minutes.
You cut out, tell me again.
Oh, cut our scene at 5 minutes for next week.
Cut it at 5.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, love you guys.
Bye.
All right, thank you, Shay.
Joanne, have a good night.